Talk about underrated. This guy must be the hidden gem of European football right now. When Barcelona dropped £60 million on Dani Olmo, it felt like one of those "wait, what?" moments in football. I mean, 60 million is a lot of money, especially for a guy who, let's be honest, wasn't exactly a global superstar. And let's not forget, Barcelona's midfield was already stacked with talent. It wasn't like they were desperate for another attacking midfielder. But here's the thing, Olmo had just come off a sensational Euros. He was scoring goals, setting up teammates, and playing with a kind of flair that makes you sit up and pay attention. Suddenly, he wasn't just that guy from RB Leipzig. He was Dani Olmo. Still, one great tournament doesn't always mean long-term success. Barcelona weren't just buying a player, they were placing a massive bet, a 60 million bet, on the belief that Olmo could take them to the next level. So here's the million-dollar question. How good is Dani Olmo really?
A player that has elevated his profile at the highest level and playing at the highest level much more so than Dani Olmo has over.
Olmo hit the ground running after Flick. He slotted into the attacking midfield row like he's been playing there forever. And even with those registration issues, he didn't miss a beat. Can you believe it? He scored 3 straight games right out of the gate. Three games in, and everybody was already convinced. The way he moved, the way he played, it all looked so natural. But hey, that's what you expect from somebody who came through La Masia, Barcelona's legendary academy. That's where he sharpened his skills and learned to think 3 steps ahead on the pitch. But here's where it gets really interesting. At just 16, Olmo made a bold move that left everyone scratching their heads. He left Barcelona, not for a big-name European club, but for Dinamo Zagreb, Croatia. It seemed like such a mistake, but Olmo knew exactly what he was doing. Dinamo Zagreb was a breeding ground for talent. Look at their past players. Modric, Kovacic, Mandzukic. Olmo saw the opportunity to develop, and boy, did he take it. Over 120 games, he scored 34 goals and became the heartbeat of the team. 5 league titles, 3 cups, and the honor of being named Croatian Footballer of the Year in 2018. He was a bona fide star. But Olmo wasn't about to settle. After conquering Croatia, he set his sights on the big leagues. He entered RB Leipzig, a club famous for turning young talents into superstars. It was the perfect match. And guess what? He didn't even need time to adjust. He scored in a cup game against Eintracht Frankfurt right after joining mid-season.
Make an impact having come on as a substitute. Angelino and Dani Olmo! Just like that.
From there, Olmo just kept improving himself. Goals against Cologne and a brace against Hoffenheim showed his consistency. Then came his big moment, scoring the opening goal against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League quarter-finals.
Seized into the middle and in. Well, that's what they wanted. And it's a Spaniard who scored.
That goal helped Leipzig reach their first ever Champions League semi-final. At Leipzig, Olmo showed off his versatility. Whether it was on the wing, in midfield, or as a false 9, he was always a threat. Over 148 games, he ranked up 29 goals and 34 assists. And who could forget his incredible hat-trick against Bayern Munich in the German Super Cup?
Here is Raum looking for that little touch on, and Dani Olmo keeps his balance. Oh my goodness! Here is Dani Olmo, hat-trick hero.
That's Dani Olmo for you, a true game changer. But you see, his time at Leipzig also showed his biggest weakness. Don't get me wrong, he's incredibly talented. He was fantastic at both Dinamo Zagreb and Leipzig, which is why Barcelona spent so much money on him. But honestly, some people were hesitant, and I'll tell you why.
Introduction at Barcelona, first of all off the bench, was match changing. But if you go back and look at his history, in Germany in particular, this has been a problem.
Injuries. They've been his biggest hurdle, and they just keep coming. Muscle problems, knee issues, shoulder dislocations. He's been through it all. Last season, he missed 29 games. Can you imagine? That's a lot of football to miss because of knee troubles, joint dislocations, and more muscle issues. And the season before that, another 20 games on the sidelines. And it wasn't just one bad season either. In 2022, it was injury after injury. First, a muscle problem kept him out for 9 games. Then the same injury flared up again, sidelining him for 8 more. Throw in a bit of COVID and even a cold, he missed 19 games that year. It's been a constant battle for him to stay fit. And that's the frustrating part, because when he's on the pitch, you see how special he is. One touch and you know we're watching a top-tier player. But these injuries, they're holding him back, disrupting his rhythm and his growth as a player. Look at somebody like Pedri, another insanely talented player whose career has been slowed by injuries. You don't want to see Olmo go down the same path.
Sometimes this sort of injury-ravaged sort of player perception follows you around and then you can't shake it.
Now, when Barcelona signed him, it raised a few eyebrows. Spending that much money on a midfielder when they already had Pedri and Fermin Lopez, it felt like a gamble. Pedri was already thriving at that number 10 role for Spain, and Lopez had shown his quality at the Olympics. So did they really need Olmo? And then, as if to prove the doubters right, Olmo got injured almost immediately after joining. Luckily for Barcelona, they were playing well and had depth in the squad. But what if they'd been struggling? It could have been a disaster. Before we continue, if you're loving this video so far, make sure to smash that subscribe button to Kicks with Seb so you never miss out on awesome content like this. That said, Barcelona's coaching staff is top-notch when it comes to player fitness. If they can manage Olmo's workload, keep him healthy, and get him playing regularly, he could be a game changer. Because let's be real, when he's fit, he's absolutely brilliant. Bundesliga fans saw it, and anyone who watched Euros knows what I'm talking about. 3 goals, 2 assists. He was on fire. Remember the game against Germany? Pedri's injury gave Olmo his shot, and he grabbed it with both hands. He came on as a sub, scored a goal, set up another, and Spain won 2-1. Then he followed it up with the winning goal against France to send Spain to the final. Moments like that are why people believe in him. And it's not just those games. He scored in the round of 16 against Georgia and had a goal and an assist in the group stage against Albania. When the stakes are high, Olmo steps up. That's the player Barcelona invested in. And if he can stay healthy, the sky's the limit.
He can have late runs out of the midfield. He can add goals. He has that in his game. He has quick touches in tight areas. We saw it in the goal. We saw it in the finish as well. So there's a lot to like about Dani Olmo and what he can do with.
You know what's amazing about Olmo? The way he plays with such purpose and positivity. Every time he gets the ball, he's not just looking for the safe pass. He's thinking forward, always ready to make something happen. It's the same electric vibe you get from players like Messi or Lamine Yamal. The moment they touch the ball, you know something special could be coming. That's Olmo for you. He picks it up, turns, and immediately sets his sights on goal. And you can bet that's exactly what Flick saw in him. Flick loves players who are direct, who don't overcomplicate things. Players who attack with intent, create chances, and score goals. That's Olmo's DNA. In Flick's system, he absolutely thrives. That number 10 role, his vision and technique are on another level. He's a master at finding those tiny pockets of space in between defenders. And when he gets dribbling, it's like he's floating across the pitch. It's beautiful to watch. What really sets him apart, though, is that he's not afraid to pull the trigger. How many times have we seen Barcelona's midfielders hesitate, always looking for the extra pass? Not Olmo. If he gets even half a chance, he's firing from distance. His return to Barcelona feels like a dream come true. But let's be honest, it's also a huge test. We all know how ridiculously talented he is. We've seen him shine under Flick, but the question is, can he stay healthy? Those injuries have held him back, but if he can stay fit, he could genuinely transform this Barcelona side. At his best, he's unstoppable. He's efficient, shows up in the biggest games, and can do it all. Honestly, when he's on top of his game, he's up there with the best players in the world. He even gives off shades of De Bruyne. The creativity, the composure, the ability to dominate a game. But of course, his injury history is always lurking in the background. And now, when it seems like Olmo could be the key to Barcelona's future, there's an even bigger worry. Because if they're not careful, they just might lose him altogether.
Really, none of those options work. Then Dani Olmo will be without a registration for the second half of the season, which means there are conflicted reports. Some people say that if you are not registered with a club, then your contract with that club becomes invalid. So you are literally a free agent. You can go anywhere and play.
Remember how I said they had trouble registering him at the start of the season? Well, it turns out his contract only covered the first half of the year, ending in December 2024. Now, it's chaos at Camp Nou. First, on December 27th, BBC Sports reported that Barcelona's appeal to register Olmo was rejected. Ouch! That means starting January 1st, he couldn't play for the club. club. But Barcelona didn't give up. They tried again on December 30th. Guess what? Another rejection, just a day before his registration expired. La Liga wasn't having it, saying Barcelona failed to meet the requirements. This is a nightmare for Barca. Right now, Olmo is basically a free agent. His agent, Andy Barra, told Fabrizio Romano that Olmo wants to stay and isn't even considering other offers. Admirable, right? But let's be real. If they don't figure out this fast, the financial hit could be devastating. Barcelona still owes Olmo 41 million in wages until 2023, plus 47 million to RB Leipzig for his transfer. And to make it worse, they'd lose the chance to sell him for his current market value of 53 million. Meanwhile, clubs around Europe are watching like hawks. Mundo Deportivo says 9 teams are interested, including 6 from the Premier League and 3 Bundesliga giants. Manchester United, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, they're all ready to pounce on Barcelona's misfortune. But where could Olmo actually go? Bayern might not be the best fit. Yamal Musiala is already their star attacking midfielder under Vincent Kompany, with 9 goals and 2 assists in just 13 games. At United, Ruben Amorim could love Olmo's creativity. But let's face it, their lack of Champions League football could be a major turn-off. Manchester City, though, now that's intriguing. With Kevin De Bruyne struggling with injuries and Phil Foden out of form, Olmo could thrive in Guardiola's system. His playmaking and goal-scoring ability would fit perfectly into City's style. If he leaves Barcelona, this feels like the move to make. And it's not just the transfer drama, it's the timing. Barcelona's form is slipping badly. They've already lost Lamine Yamal to injury for 3 weeks. And they're not exactly firing all cylinders. Sure, they started the season on fire, scoring goals like it was easy. Who could forget that epic 4-3 losses in their last 6 games, including a shocking defeat to newly promoted Leganes? With Atletico leading the league and Real Madrid breathing down their necks, Barcelona is in trouble. This Dani Olmo debacle is the last thing they need right now. The title race is heating up, and the second half of the season promises fireworks. Can Barca pull it together, or will this be a season to forget? One thing is for sure, it's going to be intense.